goal for them is by April of next year, we should have something that we've worked with the community to develop something for the operators that's going to really help.
Everyone got a beer? Grab some food. Come on in, grab a seat. Would anyone like to start and share one of the reflections you have from the week?
Someone insecure wants to just go first.
Start passing those back my way.
Anyway, I just wanted to say to the entire team, thank you so much for what you have done for us here today. The authenticity of not only y'all are all leaders in your own way, and to see that is really amazing. And we were just talking with a group of us of, it's being so real, the issue with the 360 feedback and bringing that all together. What a remarkable way to show leadership. And anyway, we just thank y'all for what you are doing for us. And we definitely hope to take back just what we can to the rest of the crew. And I'm now turning it over to you. You're supposed to go first.
So I would just, is this on? So what I would say, and I know you all know this, but just imagine for me, or I can imagine, what the value of a CEO's time is for what is 3 full days on something that is not revenue generating, but is so that really hits home to me, that you have to really care to do that. And then the second part is, the humility that we talked about really goes to a conversation I had with our number 2 at airports, our vice chief of staff, that ended up being my connection, at least, to Nextdown. And that is what we're good at and what we're not good at. So we know what we're good at, right? We know how to take care of bad guys in an appropriate way. We're very good at that, we think. We've got lots of practice at it, unfortunately. But what we aren't good at is a lot of what we've been talking about this week. And to find an opportunity to connect with folks that are willing to help us out with that. And there's a lot of us. I mean, we bring in, I won't even cite the numbers, but today, 700 more people join the Air Force, and that happens every Friday the 2 weeks in a year. So that's how big and turnover and dynamic and diverse we are. So to have something like this that will help us teach us, I think, how to provide them feedback, how to make them better at what they do, is really unmeasurable. So one thing we do have traditions. So one of our traditions is to when we see great work on the spot, is to recognize it on the spot and then to publicly say thank you, and hoping that would duplicate. We do that through these little round metal objects, and they've got, the military guys know, they've got a history all in of themselves, and if you drop it, you buy a person a beer at the bar, and I could go on and on and on. But what they really do is they're our way, our small way of saying thank you for your sacrifice. So for both of you, Coast Eagles, I'd like to give you my point and say thank you very much.
Hey, so I just wanted to follow General Brown and echo some of the comments. I think we who serve the group of people, military folks, we like to think we have a lot of gas, that we give a shit about what we do. I think you guys showed us in spades that you really have gas in terms of what you guys do. So for us, the level to see that energy and to see that passion, right? I think we get fueled by passion. You guys have passion for this subject. So I want to say, one, thank you guys for sharing your time with us to allow us to bring so many of our folks, the folks with my team from the Air Force's Personnel Center, to see it firsthand and to understand the tools, the techniques, the opportunity to see the vulnerability and the leadership that you guys displayed has been just remarkable for us. I brought a group of folks at different levels from our organization so that we could see it from different eyes and from different lenses, and we'll go home and we'll reflect and we'll have a chance to do that. I will just tell you, for our intent is to be in the arena with you guys and to have some discussions in a similar kind of a fashion that we did. So we just want to say thank you guys very much for that, and to remind us that it's about people, right? We have incredible machines, but what makes the United States Air Force a great place is the people, and so you guys reminded us that in spades. So thanks for that. I want to follow General Brown's footsteps and give out some round metal objects as well. And so I'll start with the two vulnerable people up here at the front who allowed us to do it. So I've got one for Charlie and one for Megan. Thanks, Charlie. Appreciate it. You don't have to drop another one. You're good. Megan, thank you as well. And now we also know that there's a bunch of other folks who help put these things on, and we don't have enough points for everybody, but there was a couple key people that we wanted to bring up and thank. I think we have one for Samantha. If Samantha comes up, thanks. Where's Julian? Is Julian around? Yep. Thanks. I think we have one for Raw. Yeah. He's over. I gotta check my notes. There's one more. And we have one for Jared. If Jared comes up. And again, thanks. Really appreciate being here.
I'm gonna take it. I'm not gonna take too long because we have way too many people as I look around. Charlie, Megan, thank you. I'll tell you, I was a skeptic coming in, not sure what I was gonna get. There's a lot of information that we can take back and utilize within our organization to make us better. So thank you for presenting, and thank you for being so vulnerable. Like I said earlier today, you taught us a valuable lesson, and that took a lot of courage. I definitely understand that. Me, in my position, I want to talk to you all back there. Hey, I want to tell you all thank you. All, y'all, everyone that turned their head, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, I want to say thank you, and this is why. So my job in the Air Force and what I do, at my previous organization, I went out to watch our defenders, security forces, do their job. And what they'll do when I come there, they'll say, hey, Chief, this is how we tase people. This is what it feels like. So we had a lower ranking airman who was going to get tased. He was an E3 in the Air Force, had been in the military for 2 years. And so they get this taser out, and they go and connect it to his back and to his waistline. And we're kind of talking through it, and I'm like, hey, what's going to happen? Hey, Chief, we're going to pull this trigger, and for 5 seconds, this guy's going to get tased. And we can't stop it. It's 5 seconds. It's just once you pull the trigger, that's what happens, and he's going to go down. I'm like, okay. And so they tell him, taser, taser, taser. They hit it for 5 seconds. As soon as it hits him, he falls down, and he lays there, and he kind of shakes for a little bit. 5 seconds, they take it off, and I walk over to him. I said, hey, man, I said, do you always get to do this? And he laughs at me. He says, Chief, every time you guys show up, I get to do this. And I said, my God, that's bad, because this airman gets tased every single time someone like me shows up. And so I said, I don't think that's fair. And he said, Chief, why don't you get tased? I said, you know what, that's a good idea. Why don't I get tased? So I let them tase me. But the moral to the story is, leaders, your leaders, followers, right now I know that you all do a lot of the heavy lifting as well, but a lot of times it goes unnoticed. So I want to tell you from a military perspective, thank you all for what you do, and thank you for teaching us. Thanks.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank Charlie and Megan. I think it's absolutely incredible that you focus so much on the culture. I think a lot of businesses and military organizations focus on that bottom line, right? We just got to get the mission done, finish our checklist, but you have showed the world that there is value in people, there is value in culture, there is value in teamwork. So I would like to thank you. And just so you all have some context, I have the least amount of military experience in this room. No, I say that to only say that that leadership is transferable. So when I see, people from 19 all the way up to, I don't know, learning leadership and being able to make things happen at every single level, it's incredibly inspiring. So personally, I'd like to thank you for letting me be a part of that and to learn leadership across every single facet, organization, and demographic. So thank you.
So I'm a chaplain and my pastor in the Air Force. So my ministry motto has always been, it hasn't changed, it's written a long time ago. So as Isaiah chapter 40 verse 1, it's comfort, comfort these my people. And what you've really given us tools, all of you, by presenting them in so many different ways, is a great addition to the tool set to bring comfort to people. Because so often we want to succeed, and we hold ourselves back in that self-talk that you really hit this evening. To have someone, you've given us tools to enter into that self-talk with people and to move them forward. So thank you, and I see it as a privilege to be able to help other people in the Air Force see this and bring it out. So thank you to everybody for that.
So, in the Air Force, we like to think that we do things excellently, right? But one of the things that we do as a byproduct of trying to be excellent is we are guilty, I'm guilty, lying, hiding, and faking, right? We like to stay in our comfort zone. We like to do the things that we're good at and do that a lot. But Thomas Fuller, I think, said, he's a philosopher from England, all things are difficult before they are easy, right? And so we're trying to break down some barriers, right? Break through the barrier potential to get to a new and a more innovative, more revolutionary way of approaching making ourselves better for ourselves and for others. And so I do appreciate the vulnerability, the gratitude, the generosity of sharing your lessons. I wanted to thank the young folks as well, right? Some of the best times I had with like Gauri talking about things in the business and his experience. The young folks that I got the privilege to sit with at lunch the other day and really ask them and challenge them about how it is when you first are starting out. Because all of us, right, we're kind of first at starting out with this. And so we have lessons to learn. And we have a lot to gain from you. So thank you for helping with that. I do have one critique though. There was a lot of dust that was blowing out of the air conditioning vents both early this morning and at the end of today. So you guys, if you can get straightened out, I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I just want to echo the thanks, but one thing that I've noticed at Next Jump is it's you all, and whatever your hiring process is, Charlie, it's absolutely amazing because you guys are just absolute superstars. And I think Charlie and I met about a little bit over 2 years ago and came out here and sat in your office for about 3 hours at the whiteboard. My head had never hurt so bad because I was trying to absorb everything Charlie was giving to Andy Christensen and I. And it just hurt, but I knew I had to learn more. So Charlie and Megan came out to ACSC last year and were able to lecture 520 up-and-coming majors that will soon be commanders. And they were just amazed with what you had to offer. And then this year we had Tom and Greg come out and lecture another 500. So that's 1,000 officers that will be commanders soon that have been touched by Next Jump. I'm coming here to try to learn everything I can because I figure if we're teaching it or lecturing it, we need to be doing it. So now we got to figure out how do we do what you all do. You make it look really easy, and I know it's not, and it'll be really hard for us to do it, but we're going to do it. And then we invited Kim, who actually is in charge of training and the education side. She was at Officer Training School, now she's at ROTC, so she has connections with 145 colleges around the United States. So I only want to, again, thank you. The influence that you have is amazing and it's expanding. So thank you very much.
Sorry, just a small anecdotal story to tell. I think it was maybe the first day, Charlie or somebody downplayed the idea of life-changing coming out of this academy. And I was fortunate enough to come to the Avengers ceremony this summer. And one of the things that I walked out of there, or that ceremony with, outside of a number of other things, was listening to Shimon discuss what he had done with regards to building a mission statement in parallel with Next Jump, the better me, better you, better us. It was the same concept, something to the effect of, I'm going to butcher it, which is a shame because it's really good, but inspiring leaders to empower students to change the world, or something to that effect in the local New York schools area. And I went home and I reflected, and I came up with a life mission statement. To this day, every morning it's the first thing that I write down. And to that end, it has had a life-changing impact. I think invariably you'll debrief this and you'll go look at some of the formal events, be it the Leadership 360 or the other things that you'll be able to quantifiably think about ways to do it better, and it will be better in subsequent iterations. But the thing I would offer to you is the most impactful things to me this weekend, though I have a book full of notes, were little moments like where yesterday the first thing, or one of the things you said is we got into those teams was kick ass. And I walked out of that, I wrote down a note that said just show up. Like it show up every day. It's a question that I went to lunch and talked to Gowrie about, like how do you show up every day and put your best foot forward, and how do you create that culture? Chris, when I watched you judge, it was like looking in a mirror. I mean, in good ways and bad. And to be honest, Albert, when I watched you judge, I saw the person that I wanted to be. And these are things that you may not know or understand because I didn't put it into the feedback app, but I could look around the room and tell you 10 other stories of life-changing impact that the people around the room had for me. So thank you so much.
All right, first I just want to say thank you to both of you for giving your folks space to fail, you know, because a lot of us have not seen that, and that's something that's very intimidating because none of us want to fail. A lot of type A personalities, you know, we want to get the mission done, we want to get that next promotion, we want to lead folks in a battle or whatever it is we're doing. So that's very, very difficult to do, and you've demonstrated that. Not only talked about it, but you've demonstrated it. And for those in the room, thank you for, you know, taking on that challenge and then also following what your leadership has modeled to be vulnerable and to take those chances. Thank you, because you gave me great context over the course of yesterday's feedback, and really put this whole thing into context so I can take those principles back with me and put it into practice where I'm at and the folks in the areas where I have an opportunity to influence. So again, you all have given me the courage to go out and fail and really stretch and to see what we can do to be innovative, to really help, you know, our boss and obviously the Secretary of the Air Force move forward on a lot of initiatives that we've got. So again, my hat's off to you, humble. Thank you all for what you do every day.
A little bit of a cold, but 2 points. Of course, I was here in June and have made some statements then to the team about what we defend in terms of, you know, the American way of life. And maybe you don't agree philosophically always, but we had this idea exchange. And when I went home, I put the baseball, the no lying, hiding, faking, next to the Constitution that I keep on my desk. And when we did a video chat, I showed you guys that, because you know that's the ultimate ideal, right? The Constitution and it's democracy and it's you know it's iterating too, and but this idea of no lying, hiding, and faking. So I wanted to say that as a tribute to your culture, about taking something back in a very tangible way, in a symbolic way, and working on that. And then the second thing I would like to acknowledge is our senior NCOs. Can the three of you come forward that spoke this morning? Let's see, the three of you, Chief. Chief, where are you? Right there, sorry. In our organization, senior NCOs play a very critical role in our culture. And I think it's this idea of assertive follower and the courage of the first follower. And so when you demonstrated what it looks like as a CEO to take gut shot after gut shot after gut shot and talk us through the talking partner, the grief, I think to some degree the heartache, and you were very vulnerable with us. I know for me, I probably will not forget that ever, because you are one of the most powerful men in this space. And you can call anybody in the world, and you just demonstrated what it looks like to own it. And I think that maybe you'll be braver when you get your ones. I know I'll be braver when I get my ones. But the point is that the three of you stood up as you're trained to do and rebuilt him, just like you rebuilt us in the officer corps. And it came from our senior NCOs, and you in particular. And when I get home, I'm getting my coin to give to you for leading the way. So I hope that that was something from our culture that we can share with you.
So I need to catch an airplane in just a few minutes here, but I just wanted to say thank you. This has been incredible. Thank you for being a values-based organization, and in every way, this is, you know, your values permeate everything that happens in Next Jump. And I don't think we can overestimate what's happening at 261 5th Street. I really can't. So I think on behalf of the Chaplain Corps, that'll never be the same. Thank you for what you're doing. Thanks for what you've done for me. Thanks for the example you've set before us. We love you.
Okay, so identifiably being the most insecure and timid in the room, I appreciate you for giving me the example that there is strength and vulnerability. Usually I have been the behind-the-scene analyst back in the back ranks, but today I even requested to have a respectful but candid conversation with my command chief, so about issues that I have and things that I would like to see. So I really appreciate that, and the fact that it is a culture. Everybody buys into it. Because when we go TDY, the #1 rule is we don't talk about work. We don't want to talk about the taskers, we don't want to talk about the suspenses, but we have been so energized about talking about things at the office, about what's going on, what we can change. We can't stop talking about it. Even when you guys are talking, we're still talking like, whoa, we can. So I really just appreciate all you guys for showing us what it takes to make something better, because we all know something's not quite right, but now we have a way to go for it. Thank you.
Megan, I too was accepted by the Air Force at a very low level. You were an intern, I was an E1, and the Air Force built me through the enlisted ranks to a GS-13, which is far beyond anything I thought. But today makes me realize that they'll build me further. And so thank you for your example, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for the opportunity. You guys are so hospitable. Like, I would swear you're from the South. I was born and raised in Louisiana, and hospitality is probably one of the things we take comfort in that we do really well. But your hospitality has been amazing. So in New York City, you guys got it. Thank you very much.
Hi.
Kevin, you have to come in.
Okay. So I just. Well, the funny thing is that I actually like. No, usually I'm like the life of the party. So anyway, I just wanted to say that I agree. You guys have gas, and I don't know what it is about this food, but it has definitely given me gas. I could go on more about that. I don't think we need to. By the way, in the sleep room, that was not me. Anyway, it is so refreshing to come. It is so refreshing to come and. So, where was I going?
Life of the party. Refreshing.
So one of the things, when we were talking about the good and the bad of the Air Force, one of the things I said is that I think we're not very good at practicing what we preach in a lot of ways. But here it's so refreshing to see that you guys do practice what you preach. And even though it obviously was not planned, we saw it this morning in a very real way. And so just that experience in and of itself, I mean, obviously you can't plan that in.
But it just made everything so real for like, oh my gosh, like, well, yeah, you know, I see, you know, the people do it, but what about you know, the leaders, and we saw that, so that was awesome, and it's just so refreshing, and I echo what everybody else said. Air power.
All right, so where to start? So I think the best way to, you guys asked for opinion or feedback on what, you know, what it is here. So the best way I know to give feedback is to explain how I think I've been affected. So when I came here, I'll just be honest, I thought my organization was the shit, right? I thought we had great culture. I thought we were doing everything right. There was a huge turnaround when I got there. Leaving here, I realized it's a facade, right? It was me just being a nice guy. So if you go to the quadrant that you built, I was being empathetic a lot. I've never given real feedback in my life. So I'm starting to look at that, and I'm thinking to myself, as a leader, I haven't grown anyone. So, thank you, because I realize I have so much work to do. So this trip was so well worth it. I appreciate your time.
Gator, you just justified a TDY. Good job.
I'll make mine short. Many of my comments in my mind were similar to everybody here, but I can tell you, I'm probably the world's biggest skeptic. So I definitely am hard to win over, and if you can only would have heard the things that were going through my mind before I came. But I want you to know that by what you've said and your actions, I'm definitely a believer. And meeting the people that work here, your teammates, incredibly warm, genuine, inviting, truthful. I just want to say thank you as well. Thank you very much.
So here I thought I was a great mentor, a great leader, and I realized that I haven't even scratched the surface because of what I've learned here. And you've taught me so much. I'm so emotional, I just realized that too. God. It does. No, but this really is so powerful because, like I said, I felt like I've been giving so much of me, but if I'm not able to scratch the surface of myself, then I won't be able to help all of you. You see what I'm saying? So it's very powerful because you're searching within to find the very best of you so that you can give the very best to everyone else. So it's wonderful. Thank you.
I want to say thank you so very much. This was very, very inspiring. One thing that touched me is the fact that you kept mentioning your mother is a pastor. And I know that that has a lot effect on your life. And I know that she prays every day, discernment, wisdom, and knowledge upon you. And it is only through that that you're able to see yourself and you're able to witness your humility and course correct and make things right. And we each have another opportunity to correct things. So I really appreciate seeing that. I'm inspired as a leader. I really, truly believe in that, and growing and helping each other, which is what I try to practice, because I'm one of those. I used to be a person who was doing my job, thinking I was doing it right, only to find out later on there were so many things that people were saying what I did wrong. And I was so hurt when I found that out, because I'm like, you didn't even care enough to help me so that I could be a better me, so that I could do better. So I really appreciate it, and I'm so glad that you have this passion, and this will certainly spread as each of us, I'm sure, takes away so many tools and techniques, and we want to instill that and practice that. Thank you so much.
So I've been avoiding talking. I'm a big baby. I cry. And I didn't want to share, right? Because I didn't want to break down in tears and stuff. But I just want to say thank you for letting us invade your space, right? You let us come in and learn from you. Oh. Thanks for letting us be in your space. Thanks for letting us learn from you, right? Your story about your kids, it is something because I have two, and I do that to them. I compare them against each other, and to see how it affects you long term. So thank you for sharing the story. Thank you for making me want to be a better mom, and a better leader. I'm not crying. I'm not.
Speaking of Mike. Speaking of Mike.
Thank you. As a leader for making this a priority, right? Because you could have said, y'all are crazy. I'm not sending you to New York to go to Next Jump and waste that kind of money. But thank you for making it a priority as a leader and letting us come, letting us share, and letting us get some of this goodness. And I just want to challenge us when we get back to not lose the passion and esteem. It's good to be here on Friday night crying and sharing and being passionate, but what are we going to do on Monday, right? How are we going to come back into the center to make these changes across the Air Force? So thank you.
All right, I gotta go next. I've been hiding in the corner over here, lying and really faking that I know exactly what I'm gonna say. So I'm gonna dive right in. So first, appreciation. First of all, Charlie, Megan, your time is extremely valuable. And the fact that you just spent 3 days and you've talked about being in the pressure, I think the press, or the pressure cooker, if you will, and all the stress that's been on you and your team. And the fact that you continue to lean into this this effort to make all of us better, I can't express my gratitude enough. Well, I also want to say thank you to someone. Someone put this food out. Somebody cleaned up after we left this place a mess. Somebody got in here early. Somebody stayed until midnight this week getting everything else done so we could do this. So thank you. I can't express appreciation enough. The other thing I wanted to mention, and just kind of rolling with this, is the action and the rhetoric. You know, my boss, General Leonard, came back in June talking about like feedback, talking about all this stuff. It was about the worst week I've had as a leader. And this was coming back, and he's like, "Yeah, you can mentor with this guy, Charlie." I'm like, "Who's Charlie? I'm too busy for this." And I didn't set it up, and I missed out. And I realized that when I am under that stress and I don't realize the opportunities that present themselves, then I miss out. And I never want to make that mistake again. It's like realizing what is truly important, sorting out the big A's and not get enamored by the C's. And with that, that's our own personal story, but I just see it, I see here. I see the action behind the rhetoric. I see how you built an organization that you know what you value, and you want an organization that reinforces that. And as an Air Force, I want to pick up on the challenge piece, is I feel a deep sense of stewardship. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I feel a deep sense of stewardship to take it and change. Take it and move it forward. Pay it forward to our organizations, pay it forward to my family, the Air Force family, my own personal family. I have 4 children, because I think, we were born as an Air Force 70 years ago in the 20th century. We need to live in the 21st century in order to succeed. It's not just because of us, it's because of our values and what we believe in, our ideas. So again, to loop back, thank you for giving us that charge. Thank you for spending the time, and I hope I can at least do one thing next week in order to make that change. So thank you.
Please eat, like you can start eating. I know we meant for you to like have something to eat while we did this, but it didn't quite work out.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Captain Jeff Moore again. I didn't get to spend the first 2 days with you, but I was here a year ago, so I have kind of the ability to look out from a year. I think the first thing I'd like to say is the idea of kind of a graduate program. That's why I'm here today. I'm your
alumni.
on your demo. Definitely helpful. I think, and the reason why I say that is I've been watching their video library online for the last year, and I can say that they have not stagnated. They continue to try to push the boundary of understanding of how to be better leaders. You know, a culture of feedback today, Tom. You know, great lecture. 2 lectures today that were not part of the curriculum a year ago. So credit to all at Next Jump for continuing to push the envelope and not just rest on your laurels and continue to tell that message. For the graduates today, welcome to the arena. I will tell you that you know, if you engage them, they will engage back. They find your advice valuable. You may even end up with an embarrassing picture on their wall. But they will help you on this daunting task. I mean, I think when I left here a year ago with you know, my talking partner, if you will, the operational wing commander that I with, we had a whole bunch of great ideas. But what we realized is you got to start with just a little step, and you got to get forward. You got to have a plan. How am I going to start? Because otherwise, you know, kind of leading on your time management of a week, if you don't do something next week, it becomes harder the week after, the week after. And I would probably self-assess myself after a year, somewhere between a 1 and a 2. There's a lot of other things that I'd like to do, but they're with you every step of the way. So thank you very much for what you've done and what you continue to do to support the DoD. Thank you.
So, Charlie and Megan, thank you so much for inviting me back. It's been, I think I met Charlie in the June of 2014, and I'm pretty sure among the Next Jumpers, I've seen what some of you selected, right? Because I was here on a Super Saturday, and I think I've been through everything that you've opened to the public. But in June of 2014, Charlie came to the Pentagon for the first time and opened our eyes to the fact that we don't have a monopoly on leadership in the Pentagon. Well, everybody who's ever been in the Pentagon knows that. But in the Department of Defense, we don't have the corner on leadership. Charlie, first time he presented, we were like twin children of different parents. It was amazing. And then part 2, Charlie brought Megan to the Pentagon. And everything they talked about being a team, I will tell you, my DoD partners, if you want to understand why inclusion is a really good idea, get the bath time story from Megan and understand how Charlie understood how he needed to change one thing to keep his most valuable partner on the team. That's a success story of partners, and that's an amazing story. Megan came to the Pentagon to tell that story and to help us wrap our minds around what does inclusion look like in a practical manner. And it means adapting your organization to help maybe one person, but in reality it helps many. So thanks for sharing the journey. I have to tell you, Charlie is an iterator, and I do say he's the man with the tightest OODA loop. And it was an Air Force colonel that invented the OODA loop, just so you know, Charles Boyd. But Charlie has the tightest OODA loop, which means he makes decisions in the tightest pattern of anybody I know. But I have to tell you, the slides of your children in the 3 years I've known you, you've never mentioned your children's names before, nor have you shown us pictures. So to me, big, huge honkin' step. So, but thank you for helping to make DoD better. We are different tribes, but we all have the same goal, and thanks for bringing us here together. So, thanks.
Well, I have no military, so I would need a box of Kleenex to this cold.
But it's just amazing being here, and I'm a dreamer, and I've been dreaming for a long time. Some of you are like probably close to my age, but most of you not. And my family is probably a little more practical, and when I got here, I thought, it's good to dream, it's good to be that optimistic, and to find those other people that, and they've found a way to help make dreams come true, I think. So it just means so much to me, and everybody here, and I just see strengths, and I look at how brains work, and I find that so interesting, and that they found a way to make sure that everyone is contributing and yet can grow, and I can stand here and cry and still talk. So anyway, and I want to say thank you to all of you who serve and protect us. Just can't say enough about that. And for you, to me that's like the highest, best goal of a place to help, because you can't be everybody, can't be everywhere for everything. So you're picking the people that will make the biggest difference, and there are a lot of them in this room. So thank you all so much.
I can't talk right now.
So real quick, I don't have medals in my pocket, but I have a pen I'm going to use with the Disney background. Walt Disney was a dreamer, and a lot of people looked at him and said, "You're crazy." And I think you've probably run into that. And so this is a very special pin because you can't buy it. You have to be given it. And I've got two. Well, right now I only have one in my hand for both of you. And it says, it's got a picture of Walt. And anything that has Walt's picture on it has to be approved by the family, so they approved the picture. And it's got Tinkerbell on it, but it says, it's kind of fun to do the impossible. So I think it rings true for both of you, so I'll run to my bag and get the other one. But please take this, because you are doing the impossible. And to anybody that's in here that works here, especially the young ones, I've probably spoken to over, 50, 60,000 people over the last 20 years. And the companies that I work with would kill to have leaders like this. And if you've never worked anywhere else and you've only worked here, you don't know that, but I just want to remind you that that's the case. So thank you very, very much, and I'll go grab the other one.
We did not pay him to say that.
I have the monster, and so I think I was so happy to see him up there, and I think maybe you guys need to pass it back and forth. Okay? All right.
Thank you.
I think you're like the first customer of ours that actually got invited to come. Just in the history, by the way.
In the history.
Yeah, the history of our company.
I'm very excited to have been here. Thank you for the invite. It was very eye-opening to see. I want to thank you for your vulnerability. It's a very powerful tool because I think we all lack it. So it was really great to see. But I did want to tell you, today was a rabbit day. So I just wanted to confirm, even yesterday wasn't as bad as you thought. So thank you for opening up. I think even your employees saw that, and we all felt it. And on a day-to-day basis, that's what we want to carry. And thank you for DoD, Air Force. I mean, you guys protect our lives every day, and thank you for welcoming us.
So I guess I'll thank you guys for the excitement you guys have. I think that's such a rare thing. It's invigorating for me especially. I haven't been in the workforce that long, but it's still you can still experience those plateaus and those downward slopes. And to see what you guys are able to inspire myself, inspire everyone who's spoken, and what you're able to generate within them, and that drive, that excitement to do better, to be better, to make themselves better and everyone around them better is unparalleled. So thank you guys for that. And thank you to the Air Force as well, not only for your service, but for being open for this entire thing. It was awesome to see you guys participate in everything, and very willing to share all of your opinions, and see how you guys grew was really enlightening. It's been 3 days, and there's a lot of change in everybody, and that speaks to your process. And I think between yesterday and today also speaks to your process, that things maybe did go off the rails, but everyone was very quickly to say, call the bullshit. I think that itself speaks to how well your process works, and how well it's kind of integrated in everybody, and how important that is to the success of the company, and the success of hopefully the integration into the Air Force as well. So that was again enlightening, exciting. I'm excited for Monday. I'm excited for tomorrow. Well, very good. Thank you.
Please, you guys help food and drinks, please.
Hey, Team AFPC, come here.
Follow the chief, follow the chief. Personnel is.